ready there? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Foreign Correspondent Club of Japan. My name is Pio D'Emilia. I'm the moderator today. I'm very happy and honored to welcome our three guest speakers today. The general manager of Roma team, Tiago Pinto, and the two main players of the team, Tammy Abraham and Cristian Volpato. Well, let me start by congratulating Japan for the victory of yesterday. I'm sorry, but it's personal. I'm Italian, and if Germany loses, I'm happy. And I'm more happy if Japan wins. So congratulations to Japan, and Zannendesta to Germany. And I am sure that Italy would have liked to be member of this World Cup, but unfortunately this time we are not. So we are very happy to avoid all the controversies that are going on there. And I'm sure that maybe they will elaborate about this. Okay, without wasting any more time, let me just introduce very briefly our guest speakers. Tiago Pinto is from Portugal. He has a fairly recent acquisition of a Roma team, but he performed already some miracles, like bringing Dybala, I think. It's out of your pocket.
Not my pocket.
Not pocket, I mean. And he's now the general manager of Roma, and he has a lot of plans ahead, I think, I hope. I'm from Rome, so you know. And then we have the young Cristian Volpato. He was born in Australia, right? And he's considered, you see, he's very young, but he's already nicknamed the new Totti. Hopefully he is. And by the way, he was entitled to join both Italy and Australia team, but if I'm well informed, you refused the call. Well, refused. I mean, you didn't feel like it was the right thing to do at that moment. Okay. Let's put it Japanese style. Mm-hmm. And
it's better.
Better, because the future nobody knows.
Yeah.
And then we have Tammy Abraham. Everybody, I'm sure, knows him. He's very famous, so I don't think he needs a special introduction. He's also kind of, you know, he was supposed, everybody expected him to be in Qatar with the British team. He will tell us how much he missed that and how it happened. So, Mr. Pinto, please give us more introduction, and then let's go to the other speakers. Tell us, will Roma win the championship?
Good afternoon to everyone. I think the first thing is, like you said, congratulations for the amazing result last night. The second thing is we have been feeling very well here because people has been incredible with us. I think it's the second time that Roma is here, but the first time was 18 years ago. So for all of us, it's like the first time. Yesterday we had an amazing experience in a Roma house in Shibuya, yes. Which is amazing for our club and for our brand to have some space there. So the way that the people treat us is amazing, and I think our players can talk about it because of course they are very famous, they are used to be with people, but the Japanese people has been amazing with us, and I think my first words are for them. Then I of course, more important than me are the two guys close to me, and we selected both players because they show more or less which is our sport strategy. Tammy is one amazing player in my opinion, and now I will put some pressure on him. In my opinion, it will be one of the best strikers in the world soon. I don't have any doubts about it. But of course, when one club as Roma with the ambitions that we have, we need to have this kind of player. So you spoke about Dybala, but 2 years ago, 1 year and a half ago, was a long journey to me to convince Tammy to come, and I'm very happy with it. And I'm sure in the future, when with 20 years on my career, when people will ask me about the biggest signings that I did, I'm sure that I will speak about Tammy. So, like I said, is for a club with our ambition, players as him are very important. And then Christian, which is a part of our sports project, is the academy. In the last 20 months, I think 14 players from the Roma Academy debut on our first team, and Christian now is a solid player in our first team. Some games starting on the first 11, other games came from the bench. So I think they are two players that shows our strategy. From one side, players that everyone knows as Tammy, and from the other side, players from the academy, because they bring the enthusiasm, because they are young, but they became our business sustainable too. So the most important thing is the questions for them, but I would like to say again that we are very happy to be here in Japan. It's very important for our brand and even for our ownership, because in the last 2 years they have been investing a lot in our club, in facilities, on the academy, in the team, and I think it's very good that we are here and expand our brand. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiago. Christian, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Japan for welcoming us. The people are really nice here, and yeah.
Okay.
Let's wait for the
Do you speak better English
than me
or Roman? Which language are you most?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Even Romano?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. And, okay, let me just, you want to say something as an introductory statement? No? Okay. Let me ask Tammy first. How much do you miss Qatar from 0 to 10?
Good question. Of course, I would have liked to have been, with the team in Qatar. But, I think these kind of situations make you grow as a person, as a player as well. I'm still young. I'm still learning about myself, my traits, what I'm good at, what I need to improve on. So I think this kind of put me down back onto earth, and kind of made me realize that, what, I still have more to do. I still have more to prove. I still have, more to give. And, it's nice to see them doing well. And like I said, it's motivating. So hopefully I can be in the next one in the upcoming years.
Let me just strike the first question. I'm sure that other colleagues would like to ask you, but I'm not spoil it. If you were there, how would you behave?
How would I behave?
I mean, would you kneel like all the others? Would you wear the strip? Would you do some things like everybody is thinking or doing?
No, of course. The last camp I was there, we had a discussion about the actions we were going to take, and of course we have to be respectful to tradition and to the way people see things. And we're a country who believes you can express yourself no matter what religion, no matter what skin color, no matter what sex you are. I think this world is a free world, so whatever we would have decided to do is what we would have done as a team.
So did you see the picture of the German team?
Yeah, I saw.
How do you judge it? Good thing, bad thing?
I think every country is different. Every country, tackles situations different. And, England did a different action compared to Germany. So, that's probably what they were instructed to do, and that's what they did.
Christian, how much do you somehow regret the decision not to accept the invitation from Australia right now, or you say no?
I mean, obviously, it would have been good to go to a World Cup at 18 years old. But I thought that right now, at this moment, it's not the right time to make a big decision. So, and obviously, I have Italian blood, so I'd rather play for Italy.
So you feel more Italian than
Yep.
Australian. Okay, thank you. Question from the floor? Okay, please come here and state your name and affiliation, if you have.
My name's Will Fee from the Japan Times. The England team took the knee on Monday, but Harry Kane, along with other captains of European teams, failed to follow through on the planned One Love armband protest. While there are widespread efforts to end racism in the game, with varying degrees of effectiveness, admittedly, the level of homophobia in the game is still such that there are currently no openly gay players across Europe's Big Five leagues. In that light, can European football stance against Qatar's truly appalling record of human rights abuses against the LGBT community be seen as somewhat hypocritical? And how can football and footballers specifically take the conversation around LGBT rights at the World Cup and develop it into meaningful change throughout the sport? Thank you.
To whom is this question?
Everyone.
To the three of us?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Tiago, you start.
No, I mean, I think I know in this moment is of course a hot issue that everyone is talking about. I mean, there are two things that I agree more than all the other ones. The first one is what Tammy said. We live in a free world, and all of us are young, even if I'm a little bit older than them. So I think a lot of people fight before us to make all countries free. So this is an important thing and important value that we need to protect. And the other thing is, for me, football is more than a sport. Football has a social impact, and we need to know how to use football to pass the right messages, So then we have a lot of things to discuss, because if we are talking about freedom, if we are talking about democracy, we need to respect all opinions, even that ones that we don't agree. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to go into the particular situations, but these two things for me are very important. The power of football and the sport in general, but football because it's maybe one of the biggest sports in the world, and the other one is the freedom.
Cristian?
I think everything he said.
Yeah. You're afraid of some penalty? Or?
No.
No, exactly what Tiago said. I think Tiago kind of covered it. I think every team and every country tackles the situation accordingly to what they've planned and what they've discussed. I don't know what was discussed with the England team, but they decided to take the knee. I'm not sure, obviously, what you said about the One Love. I wasn't aware of that one, but I'm sure the team would try to spread it as much as possible. Maybe it wasn't from the ban, maybe it might be another way, but like we said, everyone's trying to make it a better world, and football is the best way to do that.
More questions from the floor? Fred?
Fred Varco, freelance. A question for Tiago. What was your opinion about the proposed Super League in Europe? And do you see some kind of Super League evolving in the future, and what kind of Super League?
He's a sports journalist.
No. Thank you. I think the two questions could be linked, because Super League, I know what people intend with that initiative, but I came from Portugal, a small country with 10 million inhabitants, and we have one of the best coaches in the world, one of the best players in the world. Maybe if we had Super League in the last 20 years, you would never see Jose Mourinho or Cristiano Ronaldo, So I understand the business, because I'm I'm in the business, so I understand the business. I understand the revenues. I understand the TV rights, all this kind of stuff. I understand the competitiveness in the Champions League. So the things needs to change, but we can't close the doors to the small countries and the small teams, because sometimes the surprises happen, and Saudi Arabia won against Argentina. So I mean, this is the beauty of football. You know, you never know what could happen in the pitch. So is not a thing that I like.
All right. Other questions? While you think about other questions, I have a couple of questions from an Italian journalist. I guess it's somebody who is traveling with you, Emanuele Zotti, Gazzetta dello Sport. He has one question for you. After, which is very specific, you know. After,
if it comes from Italy, it will be about the market for sure.
Yes. After Solbakken, can Jose Mourinho expect more enforcement during the January market? Will card shop be replaced?
Yeah.
Can you give us this scoop?
No, I mean, I knew if it comes from an Italian journalist, we know that it's always about market. So market will happen 2nd of January. It's true that we already announced Solbakken because he will be free agent, so we already announced it. We do the things properly, you know. I mean, in the last 2 years, we signed in 13, 14, 15 players. I don't remember well. We try to do the things with the right way, in the right way. Of course, with the coach opinion is very important. The sustainability of the club is very important. The financial fair play is something that we need to be aware. But now we are here in Japan, focusing our tour, and I'm happy to be here. So I don't want to waste my time with the market.
You don't want to give to the Italian press a Christmas present in a country where Christmas is not officially celebrated.
Yeah. This is, maybe some Japanese that we will find in this tour.
Oh, interesting. Well, Roma had a very long tradition with Nakata. Okay. The other question from Emanuele, I think he already answered, is from Abraham. How does you feel to be in Japan and not in Qatar? I mean, you already answered at the beginning. So, are there questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, Wilfie again from the Japan Times. This one's for Christian as well, because I believe you were born in Australia. But mate, to Tammy, we're seeing a recent spate of players like yourself leave England to enjoy success overseas. And we've got a really visible example currently being Borussia Dortmund's Jude Bellingham, who we can hope will continue lighting up the World Cup for England. We're also seeing the fruits of Japanese players going overseas to leagues like the Premiership and the Bundesliga, and translating that experience there into success for the national team, as seen last night with the victory over Germany. How important is that experience of playing overseas and learning another footballing culture for a player in the modern game? Thank you.
Yeah, well, as you know, I was born in Australia, and obviously football's not a really big thing in Australia. So well, it's not the main sport. And when I was born with a ball at my feet from my grandfather. And ever since I was a little boy, I've always wanted to play in Italy. So obviously when I got the chance, I reached it with 2 hands and I went for it. So obviously, since Italy welcomed me with 2 big arms, I'm just really happy to be here, and I love playing in Italy. So yeah.
Yeah, for me, I would say, I would highly recommend, going out there to, express yourself. For me, at first, when I had a meeting with Tiago, I was questioning it a bit. I wasn't too sure about it, but looking back, I have no regrets. I'll do it again if I could. It's one thing, you've seen the likes of Sancho, Jude Bellingham go abroad and spread their wings a little bit. So it's nice for me to be doing the same. And I think these are moments you would treasure for life. You know, after your career, you can sit down with the family, with your kids, and tell them stories about living in Italy, living in Rome. So these are experiences that, you know, I'm forever grateful for. And, you know, I would highly recommend it, as I said.
Christian, may I ask you, did you move to Italy because of football, or you moved for other reasons and then you did it?
Yeah, no, obviously I moved for football.
For football. So
But-
you were already playing in Australia?
Yeah, I was playing in Australia, and I got released by 2 clubs.
Okay.
So then my only option really was to play in 2nd division or to try in Italy. So yeah.
But you came to Italy already with a contract, or you just came
No, I came on
as
trial.
an immigrant
Yeah.
back?
No, I came on trial.
I see. Thank you. Other questions? Fred, go ahead.
Fred Varco again. For Tammy, following on what you were saying, I read in the papers, of course you read lots of things in the papers, that you could have come to West Ham, but you didn't. Disappointed about that. But why did you stay? Was there this choice that you could go to Italy or go back to England? And why did you stay in Italy rather than return to England? Because there was a lot of media attention saying you could go to England because people wanted to buy you. So what was going through your head?
I think from even before I signed for Roma, I think you know, there was a few options in the Premier League which, you know, I could have easily, you know, decided to go to and felt no way about it. But, you know, I felt like I had to spread my wings a bit. I had to experience, I had to test myself. And I don't think there's a greater test than moving countries, you know, learning a different tradition, learning a different way of living, being, you know, not so far, but far from home. I kind of experienced them things in the first season at Roma. And like I said, I had no regrets. I loved every single moment. And, you know, answering your question as well, I feel like this is my home. And like I still feel, of course, we won the trophy last year, but I still feel I can help the team achieve more. And that's my goal. You know, my first aim was to win something with Roma. We did that last year, and now we're trying to push on and do more. So I strongly believe in the team, my teammates, the players, the staff, and, you know, it's a great community here.
I did a good job to convince him.
He
eh?
did.
Was the food also part of the deal?
Oh, the food.
Food
They
between
did tell
Italy
me
and
about
Britain.
food. They did tell me
There
about
is a
food.
difference.
Yeah, it's a massive difference. Massive difference.
Yeah, follow up. Go ahead.
For Tiago, I know Tammy said there's English players playing in Europe, but actually there aren't that many, and there seem to be more Japanese players playing in Europe at the moment. So when you're looking at players, I mean, have you looked at Japanese players, for example? And what are the attractions of English players, apart from Tammy? Obviously, he's at this level.
Don't give away no secrets, Tiago.
I mean, in Italy, of course, I think we pick the best ones, but in Italy we have a lot of players that came from England, no? Because it's Tammy Smalling, but Tomori, even in the past Mkhitaryan or Dzeko, they came from Premier League. But like Tammy said, I think the new generations in England are very talented, and they have this feeling that go abroad is important for them to growth. He gave some examples. I think Sancho was maybe, I wouldn't say the first, but maybe for the young generations was the first. So for us in the other championships, the intensity of the English players or players who played in Premier League are completely different. So they are that ones that I know they are very good professionals and physically they are monsters. So I think it's not a new, and everyone is always trying to do something in England. Regarding to the Japanese players, I need to tell you that we know them very well. My scouting, for example, we have 2-3 boys under 20, well referenced by our scouting. If you look to the Japanese national team, I think 9 of 11 players they play in Europe. in this moment, German league, I would say, is that one that take more advantage from maybe historical connection, and there are a lot of Japanese players play there. And yeah, we are looking for it, and of course in Italy we have always the problem of the extra European players, but the scouting that the big teams do is in all countries, wherever you have talent, you need to look for the talent, and then when you sign a player, you need to be sure that you can work with him. I mean, the adaptation is very important, not only on the pitch with a coach, but even on the cultural and social side. So I think football nowadays is much more than sign a player, you know, because they are human beings. We play 60 games per season. They need to perform. So there are amount of things around being a football player that the clubs need to be aware. And when we do scout, we need to look for about these aspects to the head, the psychological side, motivation, the family, all these kind of things. So that's it.
Okay. A lot of questions from the Japan Times.
Yeah, Wilfie from the Japan Times again. So obviously you're all inside the footballing world, and this is possibly a bit of a controversial topic, but what are your thoughts on the Cristiano Ronaldo saga that's unfolded in recent weeks? Does that kind of interview happen in Italy? And possibly this one's for Tiago. How would you handle that if it did?
I mean, this is more than controversial, you know. I'm Portuguese, so I'm Portuguese. I'm a sports director, and I mean, it's a tough one for sure. I think Manchester United is a big club, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the biggest players of history, so they decide to terminate the contract in this way. I mean, it's hard for me to comment. The thing that I would like is that tonight he can score 1 or 2 goals and Portugal can win against Ghana. I understand your question, but I think you understand my answer too. Thank you.
Christian, okay, go.
I need to. So I want to ask a funny question. My name is KK Freelance. So could you share your opinion? Which team gonna win the World Cup this year? Thank you.
Wow. Direct question.
I think a lot of teams have started well. You know, seeing Spain play yesterday, I would say they're up there with the favourites, and of course I'm going to say put England up there as well. So I think it might be a Spain-England final. Tiago wants me to say Portugal, but
No.
For you?
Let's see, Cristian.
I'm gonna
Certainly
say
not Italy.
no. I'm gonna say Portugal just because of Ronaldo.
I thought because of me, but no. I mean, I think I need to be fair. I think it's not easy. I mean, it's not fair to speak now, because before the World Cup, I always said that Argentina will win. So I need to be fair with you. So before the World Cup, I bet in Argentina, and of course I'm Portuguese. I want that Portugal could win.
They can
still, yeah. But I think would be nice for football history if Messi gets the World Cup. But yeah, I agree with Tammy. Some national teams start very well. England and Spain, they start very well. But it's a very short competition. We never know what will happen. I still believe that a miracle could happen, and Argentina and Portugal can go to the finals. But let's see. And we can't forget Brazil too. But let's see.
May I ask you a technical question? I'm not an expert on football, but I'm Italian, so we born
All
Italians are experts and the general managers of the team, as you know.
Yeah, I know very well.
I was amazed by the fact that most of the matches gone so far have a very extended play. Is it? How do you read this?
No, it was a decision. I think they already explained. Pierluigi Collina is the boss of the referees,
Yes.
so it was a decision by them to try to avoid the wasting time. I mean, the time that you waste during the game. So
they count it.
I mean, the idea is trying to give the people more minutes played, you know, because during 90 minutes, incentive to not waste time during the game. Of course, has been a little bit weird for us seeing games with
10 or 15
100
minutes is a supplementary time. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
well,
an extra time.
I think the idea behind is from my standpoint, is a good idea. Then let's see what will bring.
Okay. Fred, go ahead. That's your day.
Could be my last one. For Tammy, and also I think for Tiago, dealing with the media, the football media in England are pretty extreme at times. He's Italian, I know him very well. And the football media in Italy are probably even worse, or better, whichever way you want to look at it. How have you dealt with the media, both in England and in Italy, and what kind of problems do they present?
I think, you know, in terms of media, you kind of look at it two ways. You can look at it as bad and as good. You know, times where you're doing well, I guess, you know, the media is the best thing in the world. And times when you're not doing so well, it could be the worst place in the world. Luckily for me, I don't speak full Italian yet, so I don't know every word. But no, of course, you know yourself. I don't think you need the media to tell you, you know, how well you play or how bad you play. I think you kind of know it yourself. So you can look at media however you want, but it's how you take it.
I speak English much worse than Tammy, but I speak Italian much better than Tammy, so I understand a lot of things. No, I mean, I think media is part of the game. It's important to promote our business, our game. Even the people's passion is very important. But it's true, and this is my personal perspective, to do my job, I can't read press. So this is something that I learned in Benfica. As you know, in Portugal, 50% of the people are Benfica supporters, so you can imagine that if one player gets late to the training, it will be new all over the country. So I started to do this job when I was young, and I quickly learned to make this job well. I can't read too much press. The two guys behind you, they share with me the most important things, but to be honest, I try to not read too much, because Latin countries mainly, and Italy, Portugal, football is a very significant thing for them, so the press, in my opinion, sometimes go too far, and I think is important. Information is important to promote the sport. There are other kind of things that, in my opinion, are not so important. So to do my job, I try to, like he does on the pitch, I try to do out of the pitch. I have my focus, I have my strategy. Of course, I need to be informed, but not waste my time reading too many things.
Christian, as I told you in the anteroom, in this room, in this club, we had people like Maradona, Pelé, Baggio, a couple of times. How do you feel being sitting where these champions have been? And do you have a particular player as a symbol, as an example to follow? I know that you are called the new Totti, but probably, do you agree on that? I mean, do you feel like being the new Totti? No?
No.
No.
No, but yeah, obviously if I was sitting in the same spot as Maradona was a couple of years ago, I'm very blessed. I'd say my favorite player probably was, I'd put it like this, Maradona was my favorite person on the field, and off the pitch I'd say Ronaldo. So.
Oh, I see. On the field, Maradona?
The Portuguese one or the Brazilian one?
No, the Portuguese.
I see. Any other questions? Well, let's just switch.
I'm scared with your questions. Huh?
Go ahead. Yeah, come.
This is just a real sort of general question. I just wondered if you could share a bit more about your schedule while you're in Japan. Like, what have you done? What do you plan to do? And what have you enjoyed about Japan so far while you've been here? Thanks.
For me, I've heard so many things about Japan before we came here, and you know, it hasn't surprised me. The country's beautiful. You know, we were on the coach on our way to training, and you know, I remember I was using my phone to record the streets because you know everything's spotless. It's just clean, and you can tell it's a country with great pride. They like to take care of each other, take care of you know the surroundings, and you know this is something I love. You know, and I showed it to my girlfriend. She said you need to stay there and become like them. So you know, hopefully I can go back a cleaner person.
Yeah, no, I'm just I'm really surprised about the Japanese people. Like I've never met more nicer people in my life, and just like walking past them and they nod at you and they ask you how you are and stuff. I think it's just amazing. And yeah, basically what Tammy said, it's a beautiful place. A lot of people here as well, and yeah, can't wait to just to play.
Tiago, do you think that Japan has actually some chances to reach further?
Yeah, you never know. The World Cup. I mean, the group phase is just 3 games. Everything can happen. I think people can't be very happy because they won the first match, because they can lose the next 2, and even the teams that lost the first match, like
Italy lost it in
Spain.
Spain.
Spain. I think the last time that Spain won the World Cup, they lost the first match against Switzerland. So I mean, I think Japan has a very good team. The players, like I said before, almost all of them, they played in Europe, so they are used to play at high level. And of course, the motivation is very high because they beat one of the biggest teams in the world. So I think they can do well, but don't be too much happy, because World Cup is like you can do amazing things on the first game and then be out. Or Portugal won the Euro, and I think in the group phase they did 3 points or something like that. So I hope that Japan can still win in games, because I think this partnership Roma-Japan, I mean, is well succeed, no? Because we arrive here in the first game, they won against Germany. Let's see the next games.
I see. To the 2 players, how easy is to deal with Mourinho?
I had him a little bit when I was younger. You know, I went at Chelsea when I used to train with the first team. He used to call me the tall kid. Now he knows my name.
What? The tall kid?
Tall kid. So it's nice that he knows my name now. But no, he's. I've always said he's one of the best to ever do it. I think you know, he's someone with great confidence. He knows what he wants. He knows what he wants from his team. I think he always knows how to bring the best out of you. You know, he will never tell you how well you're doing. He will always push you for you to, you know, to do more. And that's one thing I love.
Christian? Don't worry, there are no journalists.
No. Obviously, when I was actually staying in the Convito in Rome, someone asked me and they said, if you wanted one coach to coach you, this was before he arrived, who would it be? And I said, Jose Mourinho. And
oh, really? Yeah.
3 months later, he signed. So it was a bit weird.
I did it because that.
Maybe it was because of that.
Because
No one believes me, but it was a true story. And, you know, I'm just grateful to work with him. And, yeah, like what Tammy said, he brings so much confidence out of you, and everything you want to do, and when you play, you want to play for him, and you want to win for him, because he gives you so much motivation, and yeah, it's a dream come true to work with him, and can't wait to keep working with him.
And that's okay when you win, but when you lose? What kind of corporal cognition does he use?
No, I think it just makes you want to work harder. So, yeah.
And Tiago, from the negotiation point of view, how easy is it to deal with Mourinho? Well, you are both, you speak the same language at least.
Yeah, I think when we signed him, I need to tell that the
You did sign the contract.
Yeah, but I think the negotiation was, to be honest, maybe people don't believe that, but the negotiation was too easy because it was a very emotional project. You know, Jose Mourinho was convinced by the project, by the city, by even the way that we approach him. So to be fair, the negotiation and the contract was the easiest part. I think it was like 1 or 2 days to do it because I think it was very similar to Tammy and Dybala signings, to be honest, because all of them three they had so many options that you can't, in my opinion, you can't convince these kind of people with money. Money is not the thing that,
or at least not only.
Yeah, I mean, of course they aren't here for free, but I think the big players and big coaches are not driven by money, to be honest. So I think our approach with Jose Mourinho was so humble, but at the same time with so much excitement, and our project was so good for him in that moment that the money wasn't a problem. It wasn't the issue.
All right. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Fred Varco again, mainly for Tiago, but maybe also for Tammy as the next Chelsea player. Talking about the ownership, in England we have vetting for owners, but there was big controversy when the Saudi Arabian private investment fund took over Newcastle. And there was also obviously a problem with Abramovich owning Chelsea when Russia declared war. I don't know if this actually affects your job at all, but in terms of suitable owners, decent owners of soccer clubs, is that an important thing in Italy? And Tammy, I don't know if you have an opinion about Abramovich and Chelsea.
Not really. You know, as players, we just try to focus mainly on what we do on the pitch, and you know, whatever happens higher up happens, and that's between the club and the ownership. So, for us, like I said, we just focus on the football.
Oh, from my standpoint, I think nowadays Premier League or Serie A in Italy, I would say 90-95% we have ownerships. But I think I don't have too much to say about other ownerships. The thing that I can tell you is about our ownership. You know, and the last 2 years they have been investing a lot in this club, and I'm not talking only about money. I'm talking about the passion, about the presence, because they are always there. So we improve a lot the facilities. They have a long-term vision for the club that sometimes other ownerships they don't have. So Dan and Ryan, they have a really long-term vision for the club. So we are investing a lot in the academy, in the facilities, women's team. So for me, your question is a good opportunity to tell you that if the football can have more Friedkin's family investing in football, it will be amazing for us, because they have the right vision and the right ideas for football. They don't want things immediately. Of course, everyone wants to win all matches, but they see the things, in my opinion, in the right way. So. It's like the press thing. We could see good things and bad things, but we are lucky because our ownership is doing a very good job, and not only because they sign me.
Tiago, Italy and Japan were somehow latecomers in female women football, but they are doing very well. I'm not sure I'm right, but correct me if I'm wrong. I heard that there is a Japanese player
Yeah.
in the Roma.
Yeah. First of all, our female team is doing very well. Yesterday we draw with Wolfsburg, which is one of the biggest teams in Europe. So they have been doing a very good job. In this season we signed a Japanese player, and she plays
What's
all
her
the
name?
games.
No.
The name
Okay, I don't
is not easy for me to say, but she is playing all the matches on the first 11, and she is one of the best players. So, and the women's football is growing up in Italy, and Roma has a role on it because we won the cup, Italian Cup 2 years ago. This season we won the Super Cup. We qualified for Champions League, so it's the first time that Italy has two teams in the Champions League, Roma and Juventus. So it's good. It's good for sport.
Okay. We are almost close, so I think the gentleman there, the last row, yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Gianluigi Dorsi. I work for Rete Sport in Italy. A question for the two players. You started the season and now you have a big break. You are in two different situations, so you can use this time to improve and to go back and make better something. What are you expecting from January? What is your goal, your target when you will start again to play in Roma?
I feel like I'm at a period where I've never felt so hungry to go back and play football. I think this World Cup has kind of been an eye-opener for me. And, like I said, I'm motivated. I can't wait to begin.
Yeah, no, I think, I'm just going to keep training hard and in the holidays and just get myself and my body ready as I can for January when the season starts.
Any more questions? So we are approaching, let me make a very Roman question. Is it more important for you guys to win the cup, the Italian league, or to finish ahead of Lazio?
Oh, I mean, I don't know what they think about it, but for me it's clear. I prefer to win titles. I mean, this is the mentality.
Because you're not Roman.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think in our career, and the most important thing is win titles. So I don't have any doubt about this answer.
Yeah, and I think
You
the same that what Tiago said, but obviously, when I played my first derby a couple of weeks ago and we lost, I felt different to losing in other games. I don't know why, but
You did feel the pressure.
Yeah, I felt that like it's a bigger loss. Like we lost against Lazio, and I felt it in a different way compared to other teams.
That's why you're different from Totti, because Totti would have answered definitely getting ahead of Lazio. Yeah, what about you?
I agree with these two. I say trophy. I think last year we won a trophy. No one remembered Lazio finished on top of us. So I think the most important thing is bringing a trophy home so we can show off in front of Lazio.
Yes. Well, you have a few months to repent and to.
Don't worry, we
try
did
to-
it last year. It's okay.
Okay, we have time for another couple of questions if there are. Otherwise, we can wrap it up here. Finish?
So,
Okay, thank you so much. By the
Thank
way,
you.
this is the token of our gratitude to you. There are 3 honorary membership of this club. If you ever come back to Japan, even on a private visit, you are still member of this club.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Can come here. And unfortunately, we don't have a training field, but we will do our best to get one.
Thank you.
Thank you
So,
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Grazie. Grazie.
Thank you.
Before leaving you.